And here we are. Hello all. Hello, 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 hello. Good to be here with you all on a very crisp and cold winter day here in the Pacific Northwest. I hope you have some tea with you. I have a little bit of my latte left. By all means, if you're watching, say hello in the chat, and where you're from, especially if you've never been here before, and this is the first time here. Yes, it's always wonderful for me to know. And you may notice I'm not in my normal space today. I am doing my my cat sitting duty with some friends of mine, and so what's this whole non-dual self-inquiry thing all about? Is it abstract? Is it this distant idea, all these great concepts and perfect logic and all? Well, fortunately, it's not. It isn't any of that. It can seem that way. A lot of people's first encounter with any kind of non-dual teaching sounds like that, because there is a great deal a great deal of need for some being precise, being honest, being willing to set aside your own assumptions to really look at something. You have to be willing to be guided away from our concepts and ideas and all the things that we've learned, including spiritual things that we're very, very proud of, to approach direct experience. Now, there's many folks out there that say, well, it's all an illusion. You may have heard that, right? There's nothing to do, no one to do it. Who's meditating? Right? That is really all just a bunch of non-dual gobbledygook, nonsense, bullshit, if I may be so precise. Because the point isn't to just have a bunch of non-dual ideas that make you feel like you know something, when we actually don't. It's to reconnect you with who you really are, so that the human experience can be experienced to the fullest, all of its ups and downs, without suffering. I always like to remind folks that the Buddha did not go, or Siddhartha at the time, the young prince who left behind his family and riches and power and the whole deal, not because he was looking for some abstract state of it's all an illusion, but he had a burning desire to know the answer to why human suffering. And his discovery, his insight, is what we call enlightenment. And he then became not Siddhartha, but the Buddha, which simply means the awakened one. Or you could also say it not in past tense, in present tense, the awake one. So we're here to wake up. To what? To our true, authentic nature, our real selves, who we really are. Then inevitably some will ask, well, then who am I? Just tell me who I am. Well, if I tell you who you are, it becomes another idea in your head, becomes another assumption and belief, you then live from that place, and everything that contradicts that self-image creates confusion, conflict, and suffering. So nobody can tell you who you are. Only you can. In order to do that, there is a practice, there's a process has to be gone through. We don't want to get locked into the process. It's not a, what's the word? It's not a dogma. It's not a theology. It's the simple practice of direct looking, just looking without prejudice. And there's the key. We have so many assumptions, so many beliefs, and so many layers that are conscious and unconscious that we have just never had exposed to the point where we could scrutinize them, makes this a rather difficult journey to just experience yourself as you are with nothing additional added on. So, somebody asked for a guided self-inquiry. Great, let's do it. It's a nice request. Maybe everybody's up for it. It's really very, very simple. Self-inquiry. So just first, close your eyes if you want. You don't have to. It's not required. There's no formal position, no formal clothing, no formal anything. Just a willingness to see yourself. So eyes closed or open doesn't matter. Bring your attention, simply start with the breath. That's a really common place for meditation. But in fact, do close your eyes because it just rules so much of the stuff out. There's nothing here on the screen to see. Yeah, nothing of any merit. And notice, again, we're just looking here, right? That as you bring your attention just to the breath and you close your eyes, something shifts suddenly. The attention, which is so used to looking outwards, has to go somewhere. So you give it the direction of your breath. Okay, there's the breath. But also notice that effort to bring your attention to the breath, there's resistance to that. Things are coming up in the mind. Feelings are coming up. Emotions, sensations, they're all there. Okay, fine. No story. So far, so good, right? We're just looking. What's actually here? Thoughts are here. Breathing is here. Sensations are here. Emotions are here. Now just stop there and not entertain something like, well, why am I feeling this way? Should I be feeling this way? Or am I doing this right? Is this really a self-inquiry? Just notice all of that is there, all attempting to draw you into thinking about and engaging with what's simply here. There are feelings here. There are thoughts here. Thoughts like that. There's sensations here. They're really here. Not an illusion, not a hallucination. They're really here. So far, so good. We're looking directly. Right? So if I was to ask you if there are sensations there, you could confirm it, not because it's a belief, not because I understand it intellectually, but because there it is. I see it directly. Now, also notice that you're here. right? You're the one seeing the thoughts, you're feeling the feelings, you're sensing the sensations. Right? They're not presenting their thought, feeling, and sensations to themselves. They're presenting it to you. And so you're here and you are seeing them. Right? So step one. Yeah, your looking has revealed that I am here. I exist. And I am perceiving. Right? No theory, no theology, no belief. Direct. I am here. I exist. It's not a concept, is it? We're not thinking about whether I exist. There you are. And you are perceiving it all. Now, in normal everyday life, it's kind of generally understood. We don't even actually look at it, and that is something that I perceive is not me. It's something other than myself. I'm the subject. It is the object. Right? Perfectly reasonable. Again, not a concept, simply, well, yeah, I'm here looking at that there. It's not me. So now just take that same place you are right now. You exist, and you are perceiving. And what's in your field of perception are thoughts, emotions, and sensations. So, simply, non-conceptually easy to see, they're obviously not me. I'm looking at them. Subject here, object there. I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my emotions. I'm not my sensations. Direct looking. Now you may feel some doubts, resistance, and confusion. You might, the mind may be saying stuff. Yep, really, but because we simply don't stop long enough to look at what's actually here and what that might mean for us. Because you're confirming it, right? I'm not putting ideas in your head. You haven't been hypnotized, or I didn't slip something into your drinks. It's your own observation. Now notice so far we've gotten quite a bit into this. Very simple things, but all of them are self-evidently true. This is truth. Not a theory or a theology. It's, yeah. And if somebody were to come along and say, and just kind of dismiss it, you go, it's obvious. It's self-evident to me. It's me. I'm perceiving it. Okay. So now the question kind of begs itself. Right? Well, what then am I that is perceiving? What is that? I'm not thoughts. I'm not sensations. I'm not emotions. What am I then? And just go back to what your actual experience is, which is simply, well, I'm here. I am. I exist. Right? And just stop there. It's a good place to start, right? Let's start with what we know for sure. Right? Without guessing, just, oh, yeah, I'm here. I exist. I don't know who I am, what I am. I just know that I am. Yeah, okay, I exist. Okay, great. Now, just taking that same simple thing, right? If I can perceive it, it can't be me. And all of my perception is filled with things that I can perceive, none of which are me. Can the perceiver, you, be perceived? Simple question. Just look for yourself. If I could be perceived, well then who would be perceiving me? Because everything that's in the field of perception isn't me. So can I, the perceiver, perceive myself in the way that I perceive anything else in the universe? Since we're not talking here, and I can't ask you to say something, I'm going to assume, as difficult as it might seem, and as contradictory to everything we've ever learned, can you perceive yourself? It's going to feel really weird, I know. But it becomes self-evident, right? So then, if the answer to that is no, I actually can't, because I'd actually have to get out of myself, go over somewhere else, and look back and see myself, and, well, I'd now be over there looking back at I have no idea what. So then, how do I actually know who or what I am? That's the question we started with, self-inquiry, right? Inquiring into the self. The goal being self-realization. The realization of who I actually am. Now the temptation will be to kind of go back to some concept, some idea, some anything, right? Just all of which appears in the field of perception. So all of it now has to be discounted. Well, then how do I know myself? Because everything we know, we're talking about the everyday knowledge, right, is what I know about something else, which is merely my perception of that something else. That doesn't apply to me. I can't perceive myself, so I could then, in one fell swoop, now this is a big one, I could dismiss every bit of knowledge, belief, assumption, concepts, experience that I've ever had that said something about me as not me. All of it. All of human knowledge, everything anybody has ever said about me, has all been out there in the field of perception and not me. This is Vedanta, by the way, the end of knowledge, or jnana, which is the deeper knowledge. Now just let that settle in, and remember, it's not an idea. I'm not asking you to believe me. We're simply looking at what is actually here, and as a result, finding our attention and our inquiry going someplace we may never have gone before, because we've just assumed the answer to who I am, self-realization, is going to be some special bit of knowledge, some special insight or something that is now going to give me the true picture of who I am, but the picture is a thought that you're going to perceive. So it can't be who you are. It can't represent you. Can't. It would be like seeing a video on YouTube of the Great Wall of China. and thinking that you've seen the Great Wall of China. It's just an image, an appearance. So now what? Well, this is a very important phase of self-inquiry. How then do I know what I am? See, even the methods by which we attempt to find out who we am are all based on that there is some form, some description, something that will be able to describe me. But all it can do is describe, at best, some perception of you. How do you perceive yourself? How do you know you exist? When you know, I know this light I've got right here exists. I could see it, right? It's in my field of perception that exists. And don't go into the metaphysics stuff. We don't need it right now. But I can't do that with me. So, but you know you exist, don't you? You know you are conscious. All the thoughts and feelings and sensations and everything that's coming in now, you're conscious of my words. All of these things are there. You know you are. How do you know? How is it that you know something you cannot perceive? Well, I just know. Very good. You just know. Now, this knowing, where you just know, you recognize your own being, is that two? One thing recognizing another? Or are you recognizing yourself? You yourself recognizing yourself. This is where the term non-duality comes from, not two. This is a non-dual recognition, a completely different way of knowing. So just stay with that. Maybe think, well, now what? Right? For now nothing. Just let yourself absorb the fact that you know in a completely different way than all the other ways that you've known. You just know that you are. And that's as far as we'll take it for now. So you can, if you have your eyes closed, you can open them up and maybe take a breath or two and just kind of. So that's a very, well, it's not even basic. I mean, that's not, there's no like basic, and advanced self and non-dual. It's all the same. It all comes to this place. And from here, you begin to dismantle all of the ideas that you have acquired and accumulated about yourself, recognizing that they are just ideas about you and not you. But you have believed them, embodied them, lived as them, and as a result, your entire experience has been confined to this image you have of yourself that isn't you. And so at first, the process is, we call it neti, right? I'm not this, not that. I'm not this, I'm not that. I'm not, I can't be this, I can't be this. And the question just keeps getting purer and purer and purer. Well, then who am I? And then I don't know. Right? And correct. Correct. I think I'm just going to have to leave it at that so I don't lose anybody. All right. let's see if I got... Well, hello, everyone. Ali, look at that. Here before I even started. Miracles do happen, yeah. Fantastic. Rosario, Roberto, Liza, Sally, lots of love from London. There's Ava, Brent in LA, Carl, Ireland. There's Miss Nay. Hello, Miss Nay. David in the lane. Great to see you. Mary, Miss Nay again. She's in London as well. There's Banks Fortnight and covered you. It's a good way to start, isn't it? It's a good way to start. And yeah, so do get questions in. Oops, did I just put something on the screen? No, okay. Got things moved around here today. Because I am going to have to leave earlier than I normally do to do a bunch of stuff while I leave where I am and head back to my place. Let's see. Joseph doesn't want to pay taxes. Good thing. I think we're all agreeing on that. There's Marty. Hi, Marty. There's Fatima saying, no, I cannot perceive myself just like the eye cannot see itself, like you said many times. Hi, everyone from Slovakia. Yes. Now, don't stop there because it's a nice concept and it's useful and it's a pointer, right? But we're not interested in the pointer. We're interested in what we're pointing at. Right? We're not interested in the finger. We're interested in the moon, or in this case, the tree behind. So I can't perceive myself. Okay. How then do I fulfill this quest that I'm on for self-knowledge or self-realization when I cannot perceive myself? Yeah. So you keep at this. It can seem rather difficult and strange at first, right? Where do I go with this? Just, okay, I am. I just am. But when you are at that place and you are, and you know that you are, and you are in touch with the fact that you are meditating on the I am. The pure sense of I am, before the I am has gone, I am this or that, I'm a man, I'm a woman, all of that. Just I am, and there it is. It's not just an idea or a mantra. Oh yes, it's a recognition, I am. And I don't know what I am, and I'm not accepting what anybody else says I am. So, what am I then? It's very powerful. I am. And it could take some getting used to, right? Eventually, you discover that it is the I am that is meditating on the I am. But we'll get there. Let yourself be intrigued by the experience of just being without being something or other, this or that. Just, what does it feel like to just be? Namaste to you, Tyrone. Carl, GP, I read that Nisargadatta said there is a state prior to being and to abide in the I am until it goes into oblivion. Also, that you must realize that you're not the I am. Could you explain, please? Okay. How do I explain in such a way that this doesn't just become some other great, wonderful concept? What Nisargadatta was pointing at, right, is, again, just look at the experience we've had. The experience right in, that you had right there, where it was just simply, I am, I exist, right? Now, I hope this isn't too much for you. It's obvious that I am, right? But obvious to who? So there is another place back there that he would call the absolute, because you cannot even approach it. There is no concept, even saying prior to the I am, prior to being, prior to existence. It's beyond existence and non-existence. You cannot conceive that. It's not possible. So he would say, just stay with the I am until it goes into oblivion, until you see that you are not that either. Then it's just the sense of I just sinks into its ultimate place of perception, its ultimate position. You cannot do this with your mind. And because this is that state of the absolute is completely beyond it, as far as you can go is the I am. It's the subtlest, is it not? We removed thought, we removed sensation, we removed emotions. All the sum total of experience is now on the screen over there, and I'm here. Now, I'm aware of myself. There's a non-dual insight, a non-dual recognition. I am aware of myself. So I definitely am. I do absolutely exist. That is the subtlest place we can go to. It is the subtlest thing that is still perceivable. And yes, it is perceivable, right? Because it is something known. But now you can't go, oh, okay, so I'm beyond the I am, and now start like thinking about it, right? Which is why I'm hesitating on the answer to your question, because it's so easy for the mind to pick this up and run with it and imagine there's this state and that I'm there, and suddenly you're off into, advaitaholics, holicism. So the sense, bringing your attention to the sense I am, is as far as you can go. It's the only place, it's the last place you can bring attention to. Because what you actually are is beyond all perceptions, all of them, bar none. It is not knowable. Huh? Yes, you're not knowable. So please do not get hung up in that. Right? Don't worry about, oh, there's something beyond that. You'll notice that for yourself. But it takes a while to get to the place where you can consistently recognize, I'm not that, I am. Not I am this or that, I am. Because at that state you'll go, oh, I'm the absolute. I'm beyond what's, and it's the same, no, another concept. Just another thought. Push it away. I am. Bringing your attention to it. Focusing on it. Ramana said to do that just 15 minutes a day is all it would take. 4 or 5 months. But we don't do that, do we? We run off into all sorts of spiritual ideas and explanations, and and what about this and what about that, right? When the teachers, the great teachers, like Nisargadatta himself said, just focus on the I am. That, in fact, is what he did, because that's what his guru said to him. Just focus on the I am. Give no reality to anything other than yourself. That's what he did for 3.5 years. Every chance he got. Working man, didn't have luxury time. He wasn't in a monastery meditating 18 hours a day. He was a working guy that had a little business in the slums of Mumbai. And whatever spare time he had, just focus his attention on the I am. That's all he did. And it worked. One of the greatest sages of all time. Maybe we should just pay attention to what he said. Right? Or whatever your particular teacher says, but just do it. If they're a real teacher, it's going to be something like this. So, it's an important one. It's an important note because it's so easy for our minds to get really into the non-dual stuff and to, oh yeah, I understand. Oh, I get it. And never for one moment recognize that the I get it is a thought being perceived by you, and the I that it's referring to is not you who's perceiving it. So you don't buy it. Oh yeah, I get it. There'll be a real insight there, and immediately there'll be a thought that goes, oh yeah, I get it. And you think that I is you. But obviously, if you can see this thought and feel its influence saying, I get it, it's not you. It's not referring to you. It's referring to another thought. Is this getting anywhere? Is this helping you with this, Carl? Is it helping you go to the place you can go? Hello, Ella. So good to see you. There's Tomas, the classic XD. This is Banks Fortnite. What's XD? Sorry. XD. What was that? Oh, classic XD. CM says, I'm nothing. Okay. Well, if you were really nothing, you wouldn't be able to say, I'm nothing. Right? So, something, maybe not a thing, but we don't have a word for it, do we? There's either things or there's nothing, right? Well, I don't know, but music. It's something, but it's nothing. There's nothing there. In fact, the potential for music is always there, even when there's not a song. But even the song itself comes out of nowhere. Right? It's not in the violin. It's not in the guy's fingers. Right? Who's playing it? It just comes out of nowhere into the vapor and gone. Right? Is it nothing? Our mind's idea of nothing is void. I mean, really, nothing. And so it's numeric. It's not numeric. It's not nothing. It's nothing perceivable. It's nothing conceptually knowable. But you're not nothing, are you? There's a lot of non-dual teaching like that. Oh, you don't exist. When the Zen master would hear that from a student, he'd go, oh yeah, nothing. I don't exist. They would get the Zen stick up on the side of their head. Oh, you don't exist? So he didn't feel that then. It cuts through the bullshit, right? Cuts through the concepts, right? There's a concept of nothingness. The better word for it is emptiness. There's an emptiness. It's not full of attributes, but emptiness is not, well, shunyata, the meaning of it is a pregnant emptiness. It's like music is empty, right? Until a song is born. It's not nothing, but it is empty. It's not confined to a particular style or instrument or genre or era. It's not confined to anything. But what is it? It's something. And it's nothing. You could say it exists and it doesn't exist. I keep bumping the mic. Sorry about that, folks. I hope I'm not busting anybody's ears. Is that is that clear? My dear little something. CM is in my class, so have a little fun with her. Valerie, Terra. First the observation, observer, then the I am, then the void, then the light. Right. But on that little chain there, right, where on that chain are you experientially? Now, if you're here when we did a self-inquiry in the beginning, right, We can easily get to the observer, and we can easily get to the I am. Relatively hard to stay there. It's shaky because of the habit energy always pulling us out. But exactly where are you in your own verifiable experience and understanding? That's what's important, right? I think we can all see that we are the observer. Observing is happening all the time, or the perceiver, if you like. Right? It's happening all the time. But we never stop to think about that because we're so absorbed in what it is we are observing or perceiving. So we rarely do we pull the attention back and go, well, yeah, I'm observing all of this. Got it. So, yeah. Okay, back to whatever you're observing. No, it's important. This seems like it. I mean, it's weird. It's obvious, self-evident, but all these guys with Indian names keep telling me that this is important. Pay attention to it. So, okay, yeah, this observing is going on. This seeing is going on. Right? And all of a sudden, you find yourself seeing something more subtle that you didn't see before, and you're still the same observer seeing it, like the I am. Okay? And even if suddenly you saw the void, you're seeing the void. So even the void isn't you. And if the light, you see, the light isn't you either, because you're seeing it. And you're still that very same observer, aren't you? Just seeing subtler and subtler and subtler until there's nothing left but you. Howie Whitehouse, the paradoxical relation, self, I am, and I am not. Yeah. It is. That's, and be careful, simply because the mind loves having a word to designate something because it thinks it understands then. So when it doesn't understand, when something just doesn't make any logical sense, although there it is right in front of you, you can't deny it, it calls it a paradox. So then it can forget about that and go back to the normal way it's thinking because the paradoxical thing is challenging to everything it knows. So its paradox can be dismissed instead of, wait a minute, how can I be and not be at the same time? Well, conceptually, you can't. It can't be done. But it is the nature and the state of the absolute, right? That which you actually are. It does not apply when you're talking about everyday life and the relationships, right? I am not, right? I mean, it has nothing to do with the manifestation. Right? We'll get to why the manifestation is that too, but that's a bit down the road. First, you have to go beyond all the words to your direct experience of I am. Absolutely I am, but I cannot find anything that I am. It's as if I'm not. That's why some teachers will say, you don't exist. No, I cannot find a thing that exists. I'm only aware of the fact I exist. A fact without any object to point to verify it. So you'd have to say, well, I can't point to an object to verify it. Well, then you must not exist. Which is the materialistic model. There has to be something there. You can't imagine consciousness existing in and of itself. It's got to be a thing, right? So then it would be, I am not. I don't exist, right? But you do. And that's self-evident. So I am. Yeah, I am, but I'm not anything in particular. That would be I am and I am not. I'm not this, and this, but I am. I, yeah, yay. CM. Isn't the light another? Yes, yes, exactly. Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah. It's all concepts, isn't it? The only thing that isn't a concept is you. Are you a concept? Are you imagining you? If you say yes, then I go, okay, then who's imagining it? There's got to be somebody there, right? There's got to be something that actually does exist. You say, well, it's all an illusion. Well, an illusion doesn't have an illusion. There's got to be something, some entity that has the illusion. Any way you slice it, you've got to find something that actually is. These things are so subtle, says Fatima. They are, yes, but you are more subtle than them. Doesn't matter how subtle they get, you can perceive them because you are the subtlest of all. And this whole practice of self-inquiry is becoming aware of things that are subtler and subtler and subtler. An identity, things we've identified with that are subtler and subtler and subtler. The influences and movements that have pulled us into identification is itself another perceivable thing. Very, 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 very subtle. Right? Larry says, light in the heart. Yeah, no, yeah. We've been doing a very precise Vedantic, non-dual self-inquiry, right? But again, what's the point, right? If I find my true self and I'm like, boring, well, geez, can I go back? Can I do something else, right? Have we got any magazines or something, you know? What's on Netflix? That's not the, yeah, please, yeah. What we discover is this, as Nisargadatta himself said, it was just this openness, spaciousness, and just intense love. We discover the light in the heart that is not a physical light. It's not a light you can touch. It is the emanation of your very, very, very own self. And it is the source and essence of all creation. This is where the oneness is actually discovered. This is the light at the center, the light in the heart, which is a metaphor for a light. It's radiating out in all directions. The sun is a metaphor. The sun has always been used as a metaphor for consciousness. Right? Which is consciousness, which is, what the heck is that? Except everything is illumined and it's the light on everything, isn't it? Nothing is seen without consciousness. It is the light that cannot be seen. And it is nothing but love, the end of suffering. Right? So you're absolutely right. If we can get out of the concepts of all these things so we don't get stuck, we come to the heart of the matter, that of which all these concepts are just emanations. They're just pointers. They're just ways we try to describe the indescribable because that's really fun to do and satisfying and wonderful. So we get to do this, which is incredibly fun and interesting and meaningful and bonding and communal and filled with what? Love. Love being the light, that light in the heart. And Ramana used the term heart synonymously with the self, with God, with consciousness. So when I break things down and say that's a concept, you see that, you see that, you see that, because we're trying to get to what you are, who you really are, which is what the light is a metaphor for. We don't want to get lost in the metaphor. We want to get to that which the metaphor is pointing at, the light in the heart, which is your true being. Right? Sounds tough. CM. 4 to 5 months. Excellent. Reminds me of this Osho tarot card, the guy dancing under the trees. Yes. He said the key was that, now, remember, this is not a spiritual guy, Nisargadatta Maharaj. not educated, right? The slums. He was born and lived his whole life in the slums of Mumbai. Even after he was a fully enlightened master, he lived in the same place, in the slums. And just people would come from around, and some people found him, a couple of people found him, were blown away, and after a while recorded him. It was not a lot of people, but people from other parts of the world that were coming into India at that time, mostly I think around the 60s and 70s. And they recorded him, and they started transcribing his recordings, the recordings of him, through, the translator, of course. And that got put out as the book, I Am That. And then people were coming from all over the world to sit in this guy's presence. And he was still sitting in his little one room on the second floor of the house with his family, and everybody lived there. That's where he would hold satsang, in the slums. And he never left there, except for one time he went out as a mendicant up in the mountains and then came back because he realized it was a waste of time. But what he said was that when he met his guru, and he only saw his guru in person a couple of times, once, twice, maybe 3 times. And that was it. Very short little interview, and his guru said to him, "You're not what you think you are. You are the Parabrahman. Right? Put all of your attention on the I Am, and don't give any reality to anything else." And he said, I believed him. And so I did what he said. Not because of any other reason than I believed him, I trusted him. Obviously, he felt that trustworthy energy, and he said, and I just did what he told me to do. But he was earnest. He wasn't reading a million books. He wasn't gone, YouTube looking up everything about non-duality he could find. He did what his teacher told him to do. And he did it. And he said, in a very short time, the results were obvious. And Ramana, who said that 4 or 5 months, that's what he said. 15 minutes a day. If it's earnest and your whole heart is in it, right? But especially in our modern world, getting to the point where we can put our whole hearts into anything, it's a challenge. Right? Where we can actually be fully sincere, fully in, right? And not just partially go, yeah, I'm really into this. I'm so into this. And then there's a million other things that you're also into, but you're really into this. So but if there's enough sincerity there, just enough sincerity, right? Grace will reach down and say, okay, come. And that which is in the way of the depth of the sincerity, the depth of that kind of focus, which it's more than commitment, it's devotion, everything will fall away. And you'll find that focus will prioritize everything else. The stuff that's not needed, it'll just fall away. The stuff that is will take its right place. Right? All that 15 minutes a day doing what we just did. Put everything aside. Come back. I'm not this. Just that nothing but this I am. And try to keep your attention there. Why am I doing this? Because the teacher told you to. That's why. It comes down to that, right? And so you do it earnestly, at least long enough to see if the teacher is telling you the truth. Right? And you will see immediately some results. You will. You will immediately see little tiny things begin to shift. Right? And eventually, what Nisargadatta said, for him it was 3.5 years. Most of the time he just says, in a relatively short time, right? 3.5 years. I saw one place, I think it's an I Am That he said it, which is like remarkable. What you think of it. That's the power of focus and devotion. the bhakti path and jnana path. He was devoted to it. So he was as sincere as he could be, given the time he had, and his sincerity just increased all the way up to just full awakening. But before that, those of us who take a little longer than 3.5 years, right? Maybe a couple more lifetimes, but the sincerity grows. The purity of that sincerity and earnestness grows. The trivial stuff is seen as trivial, and it falls away. We're devoted to the moment of being present in the moment, not thinking about what enlightenment might be and what might offer. Right here, my attention, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is my sadhana. This is what I'm doing. Yeah, but it's going to be enlightenment. I don't know. I don't even know what the hell that is, right? I used to think I did and have all sorts of great ideas, but all those ideas were just something else I was perceiving, so they weren't true either. I don't know. I don't know who I am. I don't know what any of this is. Okay. Okay. This is good. The best we got. And it will reveal itself to you. That's actually what Ramana said and Nisargadatta said both. Just, you show up sincerely, right? And it will come and get you. Check the time here. Oh, we're good. Rosaria, thank you, G, for such a beautiful and profound meditation. May we all be able to stay there for long. Thank you once more. Well, practice, practice, practice. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. Even that's what Ramana said. Just doing it over and over and over again is what makes the master. In every field, the artist, the musician, the writer, there's the movie Children of a Lesser God. No, I'm sorry. It was What the Bleep Do We Know, right? Came out about the same time as The Secret. Had Marley Matlin, who played a photographer, and some kid who asked her at some event, and she was the photographer there. She said, I really want to be a photographer. How do I get good at photography? And her answer was, take a lot of pictures. Spend the time, dedicated time. Within this time, I'm going to do everything I can to simply keep bringing my attention back to the simple fact that I am. And I emphasize fact because there's nothing there for you to see. So your attention is on the simple fact that you exist. And I don't know why. I just am. What the hell is this all about? If you do that, you realize you're doing exactly what Nisargadatta did. So maybe we'll all be showing up to your house from all over the world at some point. Let's see. Sally says, where does I am, or the sense I exist, go in deep, dreamless sleep? Wow. Okay. Well, in deep, dreamless sleep, you do exist, don't you? Obviously, you exist. But there's absolutely no content whatsoever. So there's no time, no space. You could be laying next to the love of your life. They're gone. They're not there. You don't exist. There's no I there. There's no I, sense of I. There's only the pure emptiness of being without any content whatsoever. It points to that absolute state of being which knows it exists, but it's not any kind of perceivable content there. It is just conscious knowing of the emptiness, knowing itself. The dreamless sleep points to it, a state in which we exist but there's no context whatsoever. So no world, no identity, no I, no suffering. I mean, no suffering, no experience whatsoever, and yet you are. Right? It's pointing to that place. The I am. Where does I am of the sense of go? Well, nowhere. It doesn't go anywhere. Everything that is perceived is arising and disappearing. Where is it arising from? Well, it's arising from, in, to, and is made of the one perceiving it. The perceiving and the perceived and the perceiver are all one. Please don't think about that. It's like backing up yourself into your own infinitely deep garage. Yes, that's the sense of it. You just keep backing up and backing up and backing up, but there is an end to the backing up. There is ground zero. There is the absolute. There is what actually is. It's not a perception. It is. And that is self-realization. So one cannot step in the same river even once. And for two reasons. It's true. By the time the foot's all the way in, it's a different river. Yeah. And for two reasons. That's good. Oh, is a smiley in the classic I means it's always that the Nisargadatta confusion comes up. I see. Joseph said, I heard Neem Karoli Baba say, anyone who poses as a spiritual teacher does so from ego. Yes. Yeah. Now, the spiritual, well, there is spiritual wickedness in high places. The ego can convince itself. I think Nisargadatta put it that they've mistaken an extraordinary experience for realization. I see that a great deal in people about all sorts of different kinds of processes and the like that have a peak experience. Right? But because they have not been exposed to genuine inquiry into the I, the experience has simply created a different sense of I, a different identity than they had before, that is now built around this experience, but still thinks it's a separate I having the experience. And unfortunately, it can become very, well, that is the ego, right? The ego is not something that's, good or bad in particular. It's just a sense of I that is not the true I, but a concept of I. And they may want to then, I've had this great experience a bunch of times, so now I'm going to be the shaman and I'm going to guide ceremonies and I'm going to speak and I'm going to make YouTube videos and the like. It'd be wise before that happens that they take the advice of Papaji and say, keep quiet. Keep quiet. Keep quiet. And, even genuine folks who have something to share, there's many of them, even on YouTube. I've met some that are genuine, right? I've had real experience. They are really on the path. They haven't arrived fully yet, but they're really on the path. And because they are so pure and their hearts are so full of love, they're not becoming arrogant. They're not taking advantage. And they are actually doing good and helping those that are not where they are. So, it's not a cut and dry thing, but you do have to be careful. And you get into a position where there's you may get actually popular and a lot of people following you and the like. It can go to your head, and if you're not open and your heart is open and the genuine earnestness of wanting to be, one with the truth and one with the love. If that's not there, you'll get lost in it, become quite arrogant. If it is there, those moments of self-indulgence that pop up will be met by what you could call instant karma, the boiling hot soup in your lap, the tripping and breaking your nose on the sidewalk, and you'll go, oh, wait, oops, wait. It's kind of the cosmic version of the Zen stick, the cosmic 2x4. And if you're not dense, you go, oh, wow, thank you, show me, lead me. It becomes a prayer to grace to just straighten my path, Lord. But the ego can become quite tight knit, and the more feedback it gets, and the more praise, the stronger it gets, because that's what it wants. The ego is completely unstable, and it relies completely on the feedback from others to confirm this idea that it has of itself. But the entire time, remember, the observer, the pure witness, the true self is there. Right? Because it's actually the only thing that sees. Tomas, when this sum of experiences is over and all loved ones are gone with it, what is the point of a will or inheritance? There will be no loved ones after. Yes, that's taking the kind of neo-advaita approach that who cares, it's all illusion, what does it matter? So I can do what I want, I can take advantage of people, There's some gurus you may even know who have done that, right? Taken advantage of the people financially, emotionally, sexually. It's all an illusion anyway, right? Yeah. Better really understand the nature of karma. There is no escaping of it. Only even at the realization, the full realization of the self, right, which has no karma because it exists in out of time, the human form, right, in which the realization has appeared will still experience the sum total of all the karma that has been built up as long as that whatever it is, that sense of self, that sense of I has existed, no matter how many lifetimes. It still has to, it has to. It's just that now no new karma is being made, and so it's going to spin itself out. You don't get beyond that. No matter how much non-dual stuff you throw at it, you cannot escape it. It will follow you. And of course, those guys are not awake, so they're making more karma, so God knows what's going to happen after that. So act within this world as if it mattered. That's love. Be love in the form that you can be in this world, even though it's an illusion, yeah, but you're not. So are you going to be the one who knows the illusion, who is indifferent, or the one who is just full of love, expressing it in any form that you can, any form whatsoever? Because really, why do anything, right? Why take care of your children? Why take care of your lover, your friends? Work. Why do work? Why live? Let the body die. Who cares, right? Because it is only within the context of our human experience that we can actually love, that we can manifest the reality. This, you see, that's a big misunderstanding, right? Yeah, the loved ones are gone with. Well, they are loved ones, right? All the experiences are over. The loved ones are gone with it. No, your concept of the loved ones are all gone. The concept of loved ones is just a projection out into the world. Nothing dies, and nothing is born. Everything is a constant transformation of energy. I'm going too far with it. Just stick with it. This is where love gets expressed. In the absolute, there's nothing to express because there's nothing there except the one. Right? There's one without a second, so it's not even one. Can't even think of it as one. But the manifestation of that one, because that nature of that one is love, which is explosive outwards, that whole manifestation is everything and everyone you see around you. So every act of love you do to anybody is in fact the self loving itself. Yeah, love one another as I have loved you. Very simple. For love is God. This is the point. Every time you love, you are the self. It is the self-loving. The self is love. A love that is beyond objects, a love that has no object, a love that cannot be conceived, just like music can't be conceived. You can't know it in its essence. You only know it through the manifestation of it. So you see it, you hear music, oh, that's music. That's the only way you know it. The same thing with love. Every love you have, every form of every different kind, and how many different kinds are there in your life, right, is that love. This is not something other than that love. It is love making itself known to itself. That's why there are many. Because only with many, only with two, can you experience love as an experience. The self can experience itself as an experience with two. This is not two. There's not one and nothing. The one and many are one, not two. This is the real non-duality, which is non-duality can exist without duality. They come together in pairs, 2 by 2, like Noah, right? Male and female. Who wants to go without that? Yeah. Well, I love pointing that one out because we separate it, right? This is an illusion. We're supposed to get rid of it. No, 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 no. An illusion is a misperception of what's really there. Right? The desert is there. The mirage is not. The desert, it's hot. I'm sweaty. The sun's beating down. It's very uncomfortable. I'm thirsty. That's all there. The mirage isn't. That's a projection of the mind. What we call the world is the self. The illusion is that it's a world. As Shankara said to the pundits, using the expression that's part of the Brahmic tradition for good, the world is an illusion. Only Brahma exists. To which Shankara added, Brahma is the world. Caused a bit of a stir in his day. But yeah, any of the non-dualists would say, yep. There's, it's all, the world is an illusion. Only nothing exists. Nothing is the world. Brahma is the world. The self is the world. This is what we're breaking down. It is not two. Right now, you, the chair you're sitting on, the computer you're looking at, is the self. The self knowing itself. And since you are the one knowing it, you are that self. Lindsay, do you do broadcasts every Sunday? Yes, everyone that I can. Almost every Sunday. I think, God, it was 5, 6, 7. Wow, many years. Many years. Haven't seen you for so long. Well, and I've missed you. I recognize this. I recognize it, yeah. Every Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, which during standard time is 7 p.m. UTC, becomes, fall back. I can't get to figure out. 2 p.m. Eastern. Right now, it's 7 p.m. UTC. So, let's see. Howie, in 4E cognitive science, the witness observer is the gestalt phenomena itself. Yes, I've heard all sorts of different versions of that. And they're useful. They're very, very useful. But don't confuse them with non-dual self-inquiry because they're conceptual. Their idea of the observer and the like, I've heard it referred to as the aware ego and the like, which, if understood properly, could be a good use of the word, but this is non-conceptual. Right? I'm not. This is not about defining the observer, right? Because now it's just an abstraction, something you're thinking about. Look, you are this observer. Do that, right? Gestalt phenomena, and you, the observer, are not a phenomena, Gestalt or otherwise. Phenomenon is something, arising from a noumena. You're not arising from a noumena. You are the observer. This is why it's self-inquiry, and it's different because it's not an idea of something. It's what you are. I am observing. Right? Okay. Well, what is that? Right? Describe that. Let him. What's your experience? What is your experience? I'm observing. Okay. Try to observe yourself, the one who is observing. Wait a minute. That's you. Your existence is not a phenomena. It's not a concept. It's not an appearance of something else. Merci. Merci to you. Yeah, Stevie, always going to, I get it, yes, what a stupidity. And it was coming, yes, I am the absolute. And immediately, I am in my mind. So many times you were telling this. But today somehow it landed much deeper. Yes, we simply go, don't give reality to anything other than yourself. If I can perceive it, it can't be me. Simple. Simple. Keep it that simple, right? Prove that to yourself. Any way you can. Then go, okay, well then that isn't me. And remember that the quest here is self-realization. I want to know myself as I actually am. So if I see it, it can't be me. I can eliminate so much of, okay, that's not me. Okay, great, that's not me. So then what am I? And you keep going, and you keep going. Right? And then you can use concepts, but we get lost in them. Right? I'm so glad, Ava. It's probably a concept. Could nothing and everything be a non-dual way of describing it because it's all being experienced in some way and there's no separation? Well, yes, because in fact, how can you put it in nothing and everything being not two? Right? I mean, that's what non-dual means, not two. So we're using language in a unique and frankly odd kind of way to try to point to something that is beyond language, because language is dualistic. All language is describing this thing in terms of something else. So that which is one without a second, how do you describe it? You can't. But you don't need to because, well, do you know that you are? I do. So I don't need to describe that, do I? That is the one. Right? So yeah, they're a way of speaking to it and using that language to point you to what language beyond where language can go. So it is non-dual. That is, it's not two. Nothing and everything are not two. Existence and non-existence, not dual. Not two. Dual and non-dual, not two. Absolute and relative, not two. God and man, not two. God and humans. Howie, this method of teaching live on Zoom and dialogue with the chat participants really brings the work alive. Oh, I've wanted to make that a point so many times, right? You can watch all the YouTube videos you want. right? You can read all the books and everything, but when you engage, right, on it, you really, your mind doesn't have room, right? Right? The job of the teacher is to not give your mind any wiggle room so it can run off into a concept. It's like smacks it and brings it back, your attention right back to right, so that you don't run into concepts. Because when we do that, we get lost. And we mistake the concept for the thing. We mistake the pointer for the thing that's being pointed at. You need a teacher. There's no easy way to say it. You need a teacher. Yeah. So this works. I do have a group that I do, a private group where it's on Zoom, where I can actually meet person, and we can work together on it. So I can be even more annoying with the pointing. And I guess I'm sure maybe some over here now. I do have some students that can testify to it, to that. It's a relentless thing that can become quite annoying. So, Christina, well, yes, emptiness, clear way of putting it. When you ask, who am I felt a nothingness, but not in the way we refer to nothing. Yes, it's just, I'm here, but it's like, it's empty, and yet it's a pregnant emptiness, if I put it into words. Yeah, I love that expression. Hi, G, probably go over this a little more on Thursday. Last time you mentioned how saying that you're going to do something is much more worse than the act itself. Not quite sure I'm guilty of this, because most of the time I have to go to the extreme, to the little kiddo to listen. Yeah, I wish I would rather not do that and have a better solution, but he won't respond to anything gentle. Yeah, we do need, you and I need to talk about that. Yeah, this is it's very tender and very subtle. Yeah. Love gives form to the infinite. Yes, or it's really the infinite, which is love, gives form, manifests itself in form. The Heart Sutra: form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Again, not two. Tempted to ask a question, but it makes no sense. I can only know the answer if I focus more on the I am and see for myself. But my mind wants to intellectualize it so badly. Yeah, that's the impulse that you're aware of. So, you're aware of the mind. You're aware of that feeling that it really wants to intellectualize that. Well, you're looking at it. Is it you? Is that you? Just subtly, you are aware of a subtle impulse pulling you towards the mind. Now, who's aware of that? What you are looking for, yes, you are what you are looking for, said Rumi. Yes, and what you are looking for is where you are looking from, which is where St. Francis of Assisi put it. You are the self. Typo on homepage under channels. Oh, really? Really? Me make a mistake on the technology? Make Rumi for self. Ground Zero feels like home, right? Doesn't it? Empty. Just me. Nothing extra added. Oh, it's just me. All original equipment. Yeah. It's a great way to see it. Banks Fortnight, recently in self-inquiry, I get the sense that awareness is not something that's perceived, but rather just a fact. That's great. Stay on that. Yeah, it just is. It's fact. Yes, but is that the I am or the absolute? Don't worry about that. Yeah, just stick with it. It is a fact. I am is a fact. You are, right? That you know. Right, so right now, the absolute is just a concept. So just stay with what you know. Absolutely. It's a fact. I am. Right? Just be with that. dream of sleep, there's knowing. Knowing that you sleep. Kind of knowing, isn't it? You are aware in a very finite sense that you are. Right? That's awakening. You know that you are. Right? And everything else is, well, I think it is as well. I'm speeding up a bit here because I do have to leave early today. I'm clear if I stay with that. Yes. No, thank you for asking. No, it's good. It's important. It is important. It's a sense. It is more of a fact, because a fact isn't a perceivable thing. It just is, isn't it? So it's closer to the substance of it. Yeah, very good. I'm glad you noticed that. Seems like the real issue is identification with mind, and at the same time is not so easy. It seems like all the energy in the body makes it harder to dissolve. I'm all over the place. Sorry. It's okay. It's okay. Yes. Now just notice that, what knows that there's this identification with the mind going on. So if you're recognizing that this is going on, well, then that's not you either, is it? It's not easy. How do you know it's not easy? Not easy to who? See, all the energy in the body makes it harder to, you feel all that energy. That's really there. I'm not, right? I'm not, that pull to identification, yep, it's all there. So, and being all over the place. What's seeing that? All of that is the sense of being all over the place. It's hard to solve, all this energy in the body. What's seeing that? Oh, I am. Put yourself back in that position. Don't worry about the rest of it. It'll take care of itself, because we're not here to make the body anything different, or to stop the mind, or to stop this pull from happening. We're here to see it and then inquire into who's seeing it. How do I know the issue is identification? Identification can't tell me that. How the hell do I know that? River's always changing. The self is not. The self as absolute is unchanging. The self as manifestation is forever changing. Thank you for your care, GP. Oh, you're so welcome, Howie. Hello, Barb. Hello, Barb. There's Sylvia, Hendrik. If I have no love for others, wanting to be alone, does that mean I have no love for myself? No. Clear enough? No. That's just a lot of that kind of new agey psychobabble stuff, right? It's not true, right? You don't have great, there's no gushing for anything about, you're just with yourself right now, which is where you need to be. And the very fact that you want to be alone is love for yourself, isn't it? Right? I want to be with them, so I'm just not being with them. I'm choosing me over them. That's love. So you are loving yourself. Yeah. Hello, Peter. In Italy, there's Miss Nay. So I can be more annoying. Yep. I can be even more pokey at you if I can get you, cornered on a Zoom room. So love you too. Just love you too, Brent. And thank you. Oh, you guys. Perfect, because this is just the time I really wanted to try to get out for early, and you all just accommodated me. See how well the universe works. Wonderful, wonderful. But, yeah, it was sufficient. It was essential. We went, boom. Thank you for that, Carl, for that request right in the beginning. We went right into the heart of non-duality. So I'll see you all you guys next week. And until then, all my love for you. Ciao for now.